Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. One of my viewers wanted to know if DEI policies help black people or harm us. Now, DEI stands for Diversity and Inclusion, and this abbreviated term of DEI is all about showing how corporations and businesses are interested in looking to diversify their workplaces and the products they produce by working towards including black people and other minorities into their businesses by hiring black people and other minorities in positions of power and going out and creating products that represent black people and people of color. That is the definition of DEI on paper. However, when it comes to DEI and black people, this whole series of policies was never designed to help foundational black Americans, and it was never designed to expand our presence in mainstream media platforms. No, when it comes to DEI, DEI is a term that basically is a cover for a smokescreen to make it look like these corporations and people who are a part of these businesses are interested in including black people and looking to try to present black people as being represented in their products. However, once you look past that smokescreen and the flash of this entire campaign, you see that it has no real substance and nobody of actual merit is making any sort of inroads towards changing the overall structure of these businesses to include foundational black Americans. Now, this whole DEI campaign is basically another ploy by white supremacy in an effort to maintain its status quo, and its goal to maintain its status quo is to go out here and again present passively a whole concept of looking to promote diversity and inclusion by saying that they want to represent black people, but aggressively are not looking to make any sort of serious inroads by giving black people positions of actual power where they can go out here and show how they are representing the businesses that they are a part of, or presenting products in the entertainment industry that show us actual original black concepts. No, when it comes to the whole DEI campaign, it's a very shallow campaign where they go out here and put up tokens and present them as window dressing to represent the idea of diversity and inclusion, but they are actively not looking to include black people in a very serious way that shows what we can actually do when we're given an opportunity. Now, when it comes to this whole DEI campaign, yes, they will go out here and hire a black person and a position and give them a position as related to things passively, but that position will have no impact on the overall business operations. And this was shown by many corporations such as Disney, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, and many other companies going out here and hiring officers of diversity and inclusion. And these officers of diversity and inclusion, yes, this would be an executive position, and that would be an executive position passively to promote the idea of diversity and inclusion. However, aggressively, this position would be just window dressing, and this person in this position would have no real impact on the overall business operations. No, this would just be a filler job, and what they would do with this filler job is basically just make it look like they were actively interested in doing something about diversity and inclusion, but aggressively this person would have no decision-making power and would have no real control over business operations. And when they would go out here and hire these DEI employees, what they would do is go out here and hire a black woman. And again, this black woman would basically be one of these bootlicks and corporate shills. And this bootlick and corporate shill, they would just be loyal to the corporation and its interests. And because they were loyal to the corporation and their interests, they would just sit there and collect their paycheck. And as they would collect their paycheck, they would not really push for any sort of real serious change in that business and never really push to promote any sort of diversity and inclusion, because they were happy to just be included to get this paycheck because this person is just there for the job. And they know that their job is to just be window dressing for this company in presenting the idea that they're all about diversity and inclusion, when in actuality they are not about including anyone. They just want to use this black woman as a token to push their agenda, an agenda that is no different than affirmative action, because affirmative action was originally supposed to be a program that was supposed to help heterosexual black men correct the discrimination that many black people suffered in the job market for over 100 years due to policies like Jim Crow in the South and discrimination in the North, denying black men an equal opportunity to enter the job market. However, those white people and racists in corporate America wanted to be able to continue maintaining the status quo. So what they would do is passively include minorities such as black women and other minorities like Hispanics and Asians, and even the largest beneficiary of these policies, white women, use those minorities as a buffer and use white women as a buffer to be able to deny heterosexual black men who were qualified job opportunities, and use them to be able to maintain their ruse of diversity, all while maintaining the status quo. And that's what DEI does, is it basically maintains the status quo for those businesses like those in the entertainment industry. It basically maintains the status quo for those in the entertainment industry by making sure that they go out here and create these convoluted tokenized positions, hire a black woman to represent as related to diversity and inclusion, and make sure that nobody, especially heterosexual black men, benefit from things like getting a green light for their cinematic or animated projects, and make sure that those black men never get a foot in the door, because they can go out here and passively say that they are all about diversity and inclusion because they've hired a diversity and inclusion executive who is the vice president of diversity and inclusion, and then point to that black woman passively and say that she's all about this position, and shows how not racist they are because she has this job. But aggressively they use that black woman as a token to ensure that no other black person can come through the door and receive opportunities, because since they've already met their diversity quota and included this token black female bootlick, they no longer need to include anyone else in their company. And that's how they use DEI as a way to, again, deny black people opportunities at jobs as related to corporate America. And in the media, they also use DEI as a way to deny black creators opportunities. DEI, when it comes to black creators, is used to deny us opportunities, because what companies will do instead of going to a black creator like myself and looking to get an original concept from a black creator like myself is they will go out here and participate in the same passive aggressive approach by going out here and race swapping a character. They will go out here and race swap a character by saying, oh, the Doctor Who is no longer white, but he's now black. Or this character of Commissioner Gordon is no longer white, but now black. And this whole plan is, again, more passive-aggressive attempts to avoid giving foundational Black American creators opportunities, because they can say, oh, we've got diversity in a character for old franchise like Batman now, because now that we've got a Black Commissioner Gordon or a Black James Olsen, we now have diversity in Batman or Superman. And because we have this diversity, we do not have to go out here and listen to new creators like myself who create original Black characters like Isis, John Haynes, or Esteem, with Black characters in the lead of their stories. No, they can go point to the background characters who they race swapped, and point to those background characters who they race swapped, and use that as an excuse not to go out here and give a green light to an original Black creator. And this is all done to ensure that Black creators don't get the opportunity to change the image of foundational Black Americans. One, what they also want to do is make sure that foundational Black American creators don't get an opportunity to be able to present different stories about the Black experience too. And when they make sure that when they go out here and use the race swap character, that makes it where they have an excuse to not give that Black creator that opportunity to get those changed. Again, not only change the image and present original Black stories, but also makes it where that Black creator cannot be a part of the wealth base and receive the wealth that they would get from a greenlit project, because if they get a good contract, they can just sell the film and TV rights, and then after selling the film and TV rights, which are very lucrative deals, they can also go out here and be able to participate in receiving profits from things like licensing and merchandising, and they don't want to see Black wealth wind up being built up from Black concepts. That's another thing that DEI is all about, because DEI is all about denying foundational Black Americans an opportunity to be able to reap those profits and build wealth from concepts that we create, by making sure that we never get an opportunity to get at the table and be able to get our concepts at a larger marketplace. Many of these corporations saw the success of Black Panther at the box office, making over $1 billion, and many more see the burgeoning and growing Black science fiction and fantasy market. And what they want to do is cut the Black science fiction and fantasy market off at the knees, because they know that the power of image can have an impact on a generation. And since they know the power of image can have an impact on a generation and how it sees itself, what they want to do is be able to undermine that ability of Black people to control our image, control our media, control our stories. And DEI is being weaponized to do this. The whole point of DEI is designed to be able to take away Black people's ability to have power over our creations, power over our stories, power over our image, by passive aggressively giving us token characters, telling us that this former white character is now Black, and telling us that this former white character is now Black, to give us a false sense of security as related to representation, when in actuality there's no representation being done at all. No, it's all about keeping people on the corporate slave plantations, buying into old storied brands, and buying into old storied brands that have been repackaged with recolored hand-me-down characters, that really do not reflect actual representation, because while giving us these tokens again are still representing the whole concepts of white supremacy and not showing us images of Black empowerment. Because with these race swap characters, what they do is we're not getting a picture of Black culture in these characters, because these characters were originally created to be white characters and be part of a white superstructure of the world that's built. These characters never were about Black culture or the Black experience. So These characters, again, deny black people an opportunity to be able to tell our stories because the companies, again, what they do is, yes, they passively include a race swap black character, but aggressively this keeps black creators from being able to get our stories told. It keeps us from being able to get our stories told because the black creator is not being granted access to these platforms. They're not being granted an ability to get a budget for projects that they want produced, greenlit, and we're not getting our stories told that show a completely different experience because the black experience is completely different than what is presented in most mainstream media. And most mainstream media is all about keeping these white character stories going with pasted on black faces, but never really giving us that black community and black culture and that black experience that comes with a black creator. And again, this is something that the mainstream media doesn't want out there because their ultimate goal of their corporate arm of white supremacy and their media arm of white supremacy is maintaining the system of white supremacy. And the ultimate goal of the system of white supremacy is to continue to elevate the image of the white man and the white woman. And that's what DEI helps them to do, be able to continue maintaining that system by going out here and providing some token bootlick a job where they can say they are looking over diversity and inclusion, but really what they are gatekeepers who are keeping black people out of the ability to be able to enter the marketplace. They will, again, with the token employee, use them to keep black employees out of the corporate America's structure, like myself, and they also use those same people to be able to keep black creators like myself from coming into the marketplace, with different and unique concepts that showcase the black experience. The ultimate goal of DEI is not to create a place for diversity and inclusion, but a place to be able to prevent diversity and inclusion from taking place. And again, you'll have a lot of people on social media ranting about DEI, saying how racist it is, but they are not coming from the right talking points because the DEI is not about, again, presenting these tokenized characters, because the tokenized characters are just deliberately there to be sabotage. And again, they expect them to fail. They expect them to fail because their ultimate goal is to go back to the status quo. They want to go back to business as usual, and they want these characters to fail. That's why they'll do these race swaps or they'll do these tokenized knockoff characters, because they know that it's going to turn the customers off. And once they turn the customers off and the products fail, they can win the long game of maintaining their customer base, because once they introduce their new concept that features the old classic characters, what they can do is go back to business as usual and make sure that no new black concepts ever come to the marketplace. This is all what DEI is all about. DEI is just, again, another form of affirmative action, again, meant to deny black people opportunities, and not meant to help us at all. No, it's meant to harm us, and meant to deny us those opportunities in the job market, meant to deny black creators an opportunity to be able to enter places like the medium of comic books, science fiction, and fantasy, and mainstream publishers, meant to deny us these opportunities, and meant to show a statement that white supremacists love to make, that if you hire a black person, they are always going to fail. And what they want to do is create a self-fulfilling prophecy with this whole campaign of DEI to say, we hired black people, they didn't work out. We went out here and put black characters in these stories and it didn't work out. But they were not being genuine when they put those characters or that person in that job. No, it was a rigged game. And with it being a rigged game, The ultimate goal was to make sure that you got a failure, so that you could go back to business as usual with white men on the job and white men in control of the image of black people, because the black people who you got were bootlicks. You can say, oh, they're incompetent, they couldn't do the job, or the black characters we created that were just race swap characters, they didn't do the job. But the whole thing is you never wanted to do the job. And because these disingenuous people didn't want to do the job, what they wanted to do was see a certain outcome, and they rigged the results to get that certain outcome. And DEI allows them to get that certain outcome and prevents people from seeing what actual competition would be as related to black creators in an actual fair marketplace. And that's the great irony of DEI. They say it was supposed to make the marketplace more fair, but how can you make a marketplace more fair when you're rigging the game? Critical question I have to ask about DEI, because it's clear to me that this isn't about going out here and creating that fair marketplace, because white supremacy doesn't want competition, because they fear competition. They fear competition from black creators. They fear competition from black employees, and they fear it so much that they have to rig the game and then turn people away from those people by saying that, oh, this is a DEI initiative. And again, this is what a lot of people on the far right push as their social initiatives against DEI. But the whole concept of DEI is anti-black, and it's anti-black because the whole thing is it never was about giving a black person a fair opportunity based on merit. It was never about giving a black person a fair opportunity based on the merit of their skills. No, it was all about either giving some bootlick, some token jobs like they had for many of those DEI jobs, like the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and Disney. Those people aren't working anymore. Those token black women aren't working anymore now that the heat's off. And when it comes to black creators, they haven't been able to get that opportunity to get in the door, because what companies do is race swap those characters and keep the same people in positions of power, to keep the door closed from black creators. So the whole DEI concept was never meant to help black people, but meant to maintain the system of white supremacy in business and the entertainment industry. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can send a donation for a minimum of $15 to the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, which features positive and balanced stories about the black experience in a richer, more diverse world of black characters, you can pick up the books of the SJS Direct universe, such as the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, my black sorority novel, The Thetas, my black vampire novel, Eternal Night, and my black business novel, Recipe for Success. You can pick up all of those great positive black fiction books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to check out my first full comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, it's available on Lulu.com right now. And you can get a paperback copy for the same price as the 2022 Kickstarter. And if you want to check out my first digital comic, Esteem, No Good Deed, you can find that comic on Kindle for 99 cents. And that's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem, Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem, Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Support black-owned and black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.